Statistics on back injuries. 80% of Americans will have back injuries that require medical attention. Back injuries are the second most common cause of lost work time next to the common cold. Back injuries occur more often at home than at work. Back injuries are often subjected to re-injury, and in addition to missed work, they may be a lifetime pain. Hello, and welcome to our first JOSH Committee video. This video is going to cover sprains and strains, and the importance is to reduce the back injuries in the AOC Senate Superintendent's organization. The JOSH Committee found it to be very important, and they wanted to personalize the safety image that they want to impress upon you. And they found it to be so important they went the extra mile and put together this video for us. And it was a rewarding adventure, and I think you're going to find that there's a lot of benefits to seeing the organization come together and build their own safety program. Poor or inappropriate manual material handling is the cause of thousands of hours of lost time and millions of dollars of medical expenses. In industry, it accounts for approximately 44% of the injuries. At the Senate Superintendent's Office, this year alone, it accounts for 27% of our injuries. And in 2004, it was nearly half. It accounted for approximately 40% of our injuries. Reducing the injuries related to poor manual material handling will significantly increase or decrease our injury rate and improve the quality of life for our employees, because a lot of people won't have these injuries to deal with in the future, and they'll have better lives and better qualities of lives. The following are examples of poor material handling practices. In this example, the operator is backing the load up. He's not seeing direction or a clear path in which he is headed. This particular technician is lifting a heavy load and he's not wearing gloves. Furthermore, he's wearing a back brace, which is giving him a false sense of security. These sheet metal mechanics are carrying a load to an unprepped area. The area is congested and full of material on a table in which the load is to be placed. In this example, the operators are maneuvering a file cabinet, but they failed to check to see that the drawers are locked and secured in place. In the past, to reduce injuries due to manual material handling operations, setting controls like weight limits and lifting with your legs was the standard. Nowadays, a more comprehensive approach is used. They use engineering techniques and administrative controls. Doing such, you can reduce the injuries significantly to almost eliminating them. Some things like workstation designs will be incorporated. Maybe mechanical aids will be put in place for lifting devices. You might automate a process that's repetitive, or you might do a different job selection or a different job technique. There's things like minimizing the motion that you might do when you move an object, and or provide just lifting tips for that one particular job. These types of engineering and administrative controls will significantly reduce the injuries in our operations and improve the quality of life of our people. Workstation design. Masonry technicians are carrying the loads as close to their body as practical. They're bending with their knees when placing the load on the flatbed cart. Next, they have a load which is heavier than their first load. They bring an appropriate cart over, which is approximately the height of the load as it presently rests. Each masonry mechanic will grab the load on either side and assist each other by carrying the load over to the cart. In this example of workstation design, the sheet metal technicians are clearing the area in which the load is going to be placed. They went through a lifting plan. A lifting plan does not have to be a written process. They just simply evaluated the area in which the load will be placed and carefully determined what items needed to be removed. Furthermore, they'll evaluate the load and determine how much it weighs, how they should pick it up, and can it be lifted and carried safely. In this final example of workstation design, the technicians are checking the drawers to make sure they're locked on this file cabinet. The lift leader is organizing the team. They're placing the dolly underneath the file cabinet and working together to move the load. In this example, you see that a particular piece of furniture fell off of a dolly as it was passing through the doorway. In this example, you will note, as soon as the technician illustrates to us here, the dolly is made of cloth, and this cloth dolly slid easily over the surface of the furniture. They're now placing a rubber dolly underneath the furniture. The friction force between the rubber dolly and the furniture is much higher, preventing it from sliding off the load. See here that the one technician can push furniture through the doorway easily. Mechanical aids. In the next two examples, we'll illustrate to you mechanical aids used routinely in the Senate office buildings. The AC technicians are restoring a hoist to a storage location after moving a heavy motor onto the floor. The hoist hook is stored in the high position. In this example, the technician is using a proper dolly to move a load forward through a doorway. Automation. In this example, the carpenters are using a fork truck to lower a load of plywood which is stored high and above your head. They will lower the load and recover the plywood that they need for their task. It is important to use industrial equipment to maneuver loads whenever possible. Job selection. In this example, the plumbers are working as a team to lift a load slowly and together and carefully placing it onto a cart which is clear. In this example, the sheet metal mechanics are working together to handle a large piece of metal. They lift at the same time, they keep the load level, and they unload it slowly together as they handle it. Minimizing motion. In this example, the furniture technicians are going to reduce the motion that they have to take to carry the load. Significant body motions include bending, twisting, and reaching. First, try to eliminate the motion, and if that cannot be accomplished, then reduce them. Bending motions present the greatest exposure to back injury, which is twisting is next. You notice that they open the box, exposing the material to be handled. This allows you to grab the material firmly, bring it close to your body, and carry it to its destination. In this example, the upholstery technicians are using a cart to transport a heavy load to its final destination. They're stacking the cart evenly and uniformly. They will not stack the cart higher than their waist, so as they push on the load, it is not top heavy. In this example, the upholstery technicians lift the carpet in unison. You've seen perfect examples here at the Senate Superintendent's Office on ways in which we can reduce the injuries due to back strains. These examples were put together for you by your JOSH committee. They were put together with one intention in mind, and that's to reduce the injuries due to strains here at the Senate Superintendent's Office. We want to get that number from 27% down to 0. We think with your help and everybody's cooperation that this can be done. Again, these engineering controls and administrative controls are there for us to all follow, and they're there for us to use and take advantage of so that we can then go home and have a good day, and enjoy our lives and not have to deal with a pain or a strain. The architect of the Capitol has put together a safety program numbered 1015, which focused on the manual material handling operations done here at the AOC. In that safety program, there are guidelines that direct us to put together a standard operating procedure, which we have done. This standard operating procedure is in your division, and it should be with your supervisors. And we ask that your supervisors and you review this standard operating procedure on manual material handling. When you review this procedure, things that you learn, we ask that you share with your colleagues. We ask that you practice. We ask that you follow the procedure. And when there's a reason to deviate or concern that the procedure can't be followed, bring this to the attention of your supervisor. We will assure you that one of the safety officers or one of the JOSH representatives will come in and help us understand how what we're asking you to do can be correlated and interpreted and put into place so that the procedure does work for the operation. Again, you can review these techniques of workstation design or using mechanical aids, putting in administrative controls, job selection, or maybe minimizing the motion, or reviewing lifting techniques prior to performing the lift to reduce the injuries or to reassure you that we want to see that you have no concerns. With that and all that said, again, I can't say how important it is for us to come together and make this happen. And again, the JOSH committee, we want to commend them on the job well done in putting this video together. We think we have one well-run safety organization. We think it's campaigning to improve the quality of life for not only the workforce, but the clients and the whole organization. And I think that Mr. Stoffel feels the same.
Well, safety is everybody's business, and especially in the business we operate. We operate with a lot of heavy equipment, and every one of our employees can lend a hand or receive a hand from somebody else that can reduce the injury rate.
It is really impressive when you see the employees working with the heavy equipment down in the loading dock or in some of the attic spaces, and when you see them following proper lifting techniques. It's really impressive, Mr. Stoffel. It is nice.
Thank you first.
It is. Thank you.